Good afternoon, Dwayne here, Dry Creek Wrangler School. Going to put out another video this afternoon. This one's not going to be on a particular aspect of horsemanship, not going to be a video on cigars. It's going to be just a philosophy, logic, talk video. I am smoking a cigar. It's actually a Camacho Triple Maduro. Maduro is Spanish for mature, and the longer that the leaves are allowed to cure, to ferment, the darker, richer, stronger they get. And usually, like a lot of Maduro cigars, they'll have the wrapper on the outside will be Maduro, but they'll have something else inside. But a Triple Maduro is the filler, the binder, and the wrapper are all out of Maduro tobaccos. So it makes for a very rich, very strong, potent cigar. Every once in a while, I kind of like them. I just been on my mind lately. We've been a lot of turmoil last couple weeks on the news. Been a lot of turmoil the last several years, and I'm going to touch on a couple of things that are maybe political, but I'm not talking politics. I'm not going to knock whoever you vote for. I don't care if you're red. I don't care if you're blue. I don't care if you're so in the middle you're purple. I don't care. I'm not knocking your politics, okay? This is so much bigger than politics. This is you as a person. You are bigger than this country's politics. But there's been a lot of turmoil lately due to these terrible, tragic shootings, especially the one that just happened in Uvalde. But it's triggered the talking heads on both sides. On both sides. I think that butterfly likes my cigar. The right and the left. And both of them are using this for political points. And it's just it's a rotten thing to do. It's a rotten thing to do, both sides. And so they're pointing fingers. People are always pointing fingers. It's the government's fault. I can't pay my bills because Putin has invaded the Ukraine. I can't pay my bills because Biden has shut down our oil reserves and our oil leases, and fuel prices are through the roof. I can't pay my bills because the price of everything has gone up. My children are coming home and they've got these rotten attitudes and they've got these crazy ideas because the teachers in the school are teaching CRT or teaching sex education to kindergartens, or teaching this, and it's their fault this, and I don't want to go to church anymore. I don't want to do right. I'm tired of it because the pastor of the church or the people are hypocrites and this and that, and we blame everybody in the world for everything that's going on. But our life situation predominantly is our fault. It's our fault. Mom and I raised 7 children. Those children were not birthed to the state. They were not birthed to the public school system. Their responsibility was given to us. The responsibility for their education, the responsibility for their mental state of mind, the responsibility for the balance of their emotional balance and well-being, the responsibility for their physical safety and their health. It was all us. It did not belong to the school. It did not belong to the government. It belonged to us. Our children are grown, there's 7 children, and they're all balanced, profitable, honest, godly, hardworking people that we're proud of. We're very proud of. The public system didn't do that. The government didn't do that, and the church didn't do that. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Now, my children are gone, and it's my wife and I. My wife's safety is my responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the state government or whatever state we're in. It's not responsibility of the police. It is not the responsibility of the district attorney. It is not the responsibility of the NRA. It's my responsibility. So quite frankly, I don't care what the laws are. I mean, to the point, the laws, to a degree, don't take this too far, but to a degree, the laws don't matter anymore. Because the people who write the laws don't follow the laws. The people who enforce the laws don't follow the laws. The judges ignore the laws. The district attorneys ignore the laws as it applies to them. And so ultimately, in the end, regardless of what the law is, regardless of what's on the book somewhere, regardless of what the government says, I'm going to protect my wife physically, and I'm going to see that we have the means and the experience and knowledge and the education to protect ourselves. Because it's not the responsibility of the police to protect us. And it wasn't the responsibility of armed school teachers to protect my children in school. If I look at the public school system today, and I look at what's coming out of that school system, the complete lack of education, the complete lack of morals, the complete lack of a sense of responsibility, a complete lack of a sense of civic duty, a complete lack of safety. And I put my child in that environment, and something happens to that child mentally, emotionally, or physically, it's my fault. It's my fault. You need to stand up and be a man. There ain't many of us left, but stand up and be a man. If you can't pay your bills, it's your fault. Now that's harsh. And there are rare circumstances where that's not so. But for the most part, if you made foolish and unwise and irresponsible financial decisions, that's your fault. It is not the government's fault to forgive your student loan debt. It's been clear for several years that a college education is not the best way to go out and make a lot of money. But we decided to go get a big student loan, go to college, party and drink and sleep around and get a degree that is either going to be obsolete in 5 years or was obsolete 200 years ago, and go out and try to get a job, and we can't even make a living, much less pay back our student loan debt. So we stand there and wring our hands and demand that the government is responsible for it, and they forgive our debts and we don't pay it. We decide we've got to have that vacation, we've got to have that jet ski, we've got to have this and we've got to have that. So we run up our credit cards, and then when there's a war breaks out around the world and there's not enough wheat coming into this country and fuel prices and food prices roll, then we wring our hands and we point at Putin and say it's Putin's fault that we can't pay our bills. No, it's our fault we can't pay our bills because we were irresponsible with our money. We blame Biden for fuel prices. Well, fuel prices are high, and that is Biden's fault. But if I don't have the money to go ahead and flow with the fuel prices being high because I have spent irresponsibly, that's not Biden's fault. That's my fault. We're tearing ourselves apart. We are tearing ourselves apart in this country because everybody is blaming everybody for everything. The left is blaming the right is blaming the left, the atheist is blaming the Christian is blaming the atheist. Straights are blaming the gays are blaming the straights, blacks are blaming the whites are blaming the blacks. And what everybody needs to do is turn around, look in the mirror and look at themselves. The problems in your life are your own dang fault. And so the answer into fixing the problems in your life are in your own dang hands. The responsibility for the well-being of your family, your wife, your husband, your children, are yours. Are yours. If you can't make enough money, this country has more open jobs than ever before. Get off your high horse and go out and get a job. Get 2 jobs. Get 3 jobs. They're out there. We went in Cracker Barrel yesterday to get a bite to eat. The restaurant was half empty and there was a 20-minute wait line because they had 2 waitresses taking care of the whole dang restaurant. Had a big sign out front said, we're hiring. You want a job? You can get a job. You can get 2 or 3 jobs. You can pay your debts off. You can pay your credit cards down. You can pay for the fuel to do what needs to be done. But it takes guts. It takes a sense of responsibility. It takes a backbone. It takes men and women with the bark on. Quit pointing the finger, look in the mirror, and go get it done. Make the hard decisions, make the sacrifice, and fix stuff. And take care of your kids. Take care of your wife. And take care of yourself. And quit expecting somebody else to do it. We got to create a good life for ourselves. And in doing so, we only have to make sure of 3 things. You got to make sure that you do right by your God. And let me rephrase that. Make sure you do right by God. Make sure you do right by your fellow man. And make sure you do right by yourself. And take care of those around you. All right? A little bit strong, a little bit harsh today, but I think some people needed a swift kick in the pants today. And I was in the mood to do it. All right? So, click like, share if somebody needs to hear this. Subscribe if you haven't. Click on that subscription bell. YouTube is shadow banning me, so I'm not showing up in a lot of feeds anymore. So if you want to continue to get content that comes out of here, maybe after this you won't want to get any more content. That's all right. That's up to you. I felt like it needed to be said, and I said it. And we'll let the chips fall where they lay. All right? So this is Dwayne, and we'll catch you next time.